Hello and welcome back.
My name's Ziyan.
And I'm Yuxin.
So today we're actually going to talk about talking stages and situationships.
One of the first questions when we're talking about the situation is, where do you begin?
So I feel like talking stages and situations are like this interesting type of relationship you have with someone. You're not sure whether you want to take it further or you just want to keep it like that. So definitely talking stages and situationships are just they're a bit different, I have
It's
to say.
really difficult for the person.
Yeah, I have to admit. Like a talking stage is when you're like talking to someone and maybe start a relationship. But a situationship,
You have an interest for them, but you can't really confirm with the other person.
yeah, and a situationship is like more complicated, right? A situationship is definitely when someone wants to be more than friends, but
no
not
one-
exactly in a relationship.
yeah.
Like no one wants to admit to it, right? And that's okay. That's okay. It's completely up to you. So
In Australia, it's like when it comes to dating and talking, it's very casual. So sometimes it can be hard to like find out if do you two want to be more or should we just keep it as it is.
yeah, so one of the first question is how long is a talking stage supposed to be? Now for me last year I think it lasted for like 3 months before I ghosted. So it's completely up to you whether like it's normal whether it's long or short, 1 week, 1 year. Like sometimes I feel like the longer the talking stage is supposed to be, the longer I feel like you're more likely to probably own up to it and say, you know what, I kind of like you. Do you
Yeah.
want to do anything about it, right? But I feel like the shorter it is, it's probably harder to admit your feelings because you haven't talked that long, you haven't trusted this person fully yet.
Normally it's around 4 to 5 months generally, but there is no time limit for
Yeah.
this.
It's like a talking stage, so it's not a
Yeah.
situationship. So definitely some time, like any time frame that I feel like just works out for you. Okay, you don't have to ghost him. He doesn't have to ghost you. It's up to you whether you want to keep it long or you know what. I think we can still talk, but I don't think I want to carry this sort of tension between us.
Next question. What are some tips to improve in the talking stage?
Okay, I feel like
This one it
I'm sorry. So I feel like I feel like
normally
it's
when
like-
you're talking, you should keep it. It depends on what you're looking for in a person
yeah, like you want to talk. You either want to talk about like common interests or
because you want to see if you two are compatible or
I know.
match.
Oh my God, you know, last time I asked what the zodiac sign is, and I was like, oh, it doesn't match. Never mind.
Sometimes you don't have to rely off these. I don't know.
Yeah, but like it's completely up to you whether you want to talk about it. I feel like some things you can talk about is, for example, let's just talk about common interests, right? You into sports, you into school, you into whatever you want to talk about. Maybe he'll try and relate to you on one sort of level.
Yeah, like say if you like theater for some reason, I don't know.
Sorry. Anyways,
What?
anyways, I feel
Say if you like
yeah.
art or something.
Yeah, for
Art.
me, it was more of like how to keep a conversation going. Like, okay, what do you do in school?
Yeah.
What sort of electives do you choose? What subjects do you do? Is there any subjects you don't like?
If you two talk about this, then maybe you could relate onto each other and conversations will go on for longer and
Yeah,
possibly when they do admit their feelings, it can be less awkward.
yeah, and
yeah.
then I feel like if you want to talk something out of school, then definitely talk about
Hobbies.
yeah, hobbies. Like, do you like sewing? Do you like this? Do you like that?
Sports.
Sports, yeah, definitely sports. I feel like many people take interest in sports. So whether you want to ask
Yeah.
him what sports do you do, I feel like that's probably the number one go-to. Yeah, but please don't try and change like your likes just to fit his. I feel like
Yeah,
that's
'cause
just like
when
one
you
of the
then-
biggest mistakes ever.
Yeah, because when you do end up taking a step further into the relationship, it won't turn out that nicely since he will realize that some of those might be lies.
Yeah, so yeah, just don't change yourself for who he is because trust me, when you actually get into the relationship and then start talking, you're not gonna know anything. So try and just admit, oh, I've actually never heard of that before. Can you even elaborate? That's gonna take your conversation longer, don't you think? Instead of actually having Google on one side, talking to the other. He's like, what's your favorite
Yeah.
team? And you're like, oh shit, like what do I do? Do I Google it? So definitely try and keep it to your own level.
Yeah, so when they do ask you something and you're like, oh, well, I'm not actually interested in that, just maybe type that instead of
Yeah, just
you
like
know.
I've actually never heard of that before. Would you mind telling me more?
Yeah.
Let's see. Third question is, I hate the talking stage. What should I do? Like, I don't want to tell him I'm uninterested, but I still don't want to tell it in a bad way.
Yeah.
So I feel like for me, I think I just told him, me friends took him. So I didn't want to.
So basically, she ghosted him. Do not do that.
Do not do
That
that,
is
guys,
a big
please.
mistake.
I think I embarrassed myself a bit too
It
much.
kind of can hurt the other person emotionally, and
Yeah, so definitely feel like just, I know for some people you just hate messaging them, or you perhaps just trying to say something to impress them. Don't. It's okay.
be yourself and then be more
definitely
natural.
try and just tell them, because I feel like if nobody tries to admit it anywhere in the relationship or situationship, I think mainly, or talking stage,
Yeah.
nothing's gonna really happen. It's gonna have the same roster every day. Say hi, say bye, how's school, how's sports, how's extracurriculars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like if you don't want this sort of roster, you want it to be over with. Just say, I'm not sure. Do you want to take this further?
I don't want to take this further. I think,
Yeah, I'm like kind of interested.
be straightforward and honest.
Yeah.
And
If
if you don't like them, then maybe in the nicest way possible, tell them.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying. I feel like if they don't take a hint, like, oh my god, like why can't they?
It will
take a hint?
make the other person a bit.
Yeah, but he won't know. That's the thing. Guys don't take hints, so you kind of have to come clean and
Cough,
say, okay, this is not gonna work out.
Yeah.
That's not gonna work out.
Well,
yeah.
basically,
If you want to say something that's meaningful and like doesn't come off harsh to him, I feel like definitely use your words. Like say, oh, you know what, you've been a great friend. Like take up some factors you enjoy talking about to him, right? And why he was so meaningful to you, right? Oh, you've been really nice. Oh, I could trust you in a couple of things, and that was really great. Oh, I could tell you some hard stuff that happened today. But after all this, you've been like a great friend, but I don't think that I can continue talking to you. Or perhaps you can say, you've been like this, that. Do you feel like we can
we can just stay
take it
as
further?
friends.
Take it further. Why not? Like, it's not a bad thing.
Oh.
But I know this part is probably one of the most awkward. I have to say,
it's probably also the
it's probably the
part.
hardest. That's why, like, I have to admit, like, 90% of, like, talking stages fail. I think it's because none of them own up.
Yeah.
And the sad part is, the more you message, like, the less exciting it is, right? Like,
well, I feel like if you do like that person, you should tell them, maybe not straight away, but straight away in a way.
yeah, straight away. Like, kind of like, it's really hard. I have to admit, this is probably one of the hardest
Yeah.
things you could ever admit to.
If they do say no, do not be disheartened.
Yeah, don't be disheartened. I feel like this is one of the main reasons why we don't want to get into another talking stage, why we don't want to talk to anyone, right?
Yeah.
This is not supposed to degrade you. I feel like, personally, if he doesn't like you, then your standards
Or
are too
she.
low. I'm sorry. Your standards are way too low. Soar higher. No one taught you to have your standards this low. But in all honesty, definitely don't be disheartened because you could not be the person he's trying to find.
Yeah, and maybe
or
there's a
you-
better person.
Yeah, there's probably a better person out
Yeah.
there.
And I know everyone says this. Oh, there's another
Like,
person for you. There's more
like,
fish
there's
in the sea.
more sea in the fish.
Sea in the fish in the sea.
Oh, same thing.
That's all.
Potato, tomato.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely don't be disheartened.
I
feel
mean,
like
they could
this
be on the
is-
other
yeah,
side of
it's
the
like,
world,
yeah, who
and you
cares?
just haven't met them.
I feel like this is also a great learning path to understand, okay, where are my standards? What are my expectations? What do I want, And definitely try to be honest about it.
Yeah.
Like, tell someone,
If they do seem like the perfect guy, the dreamy person.
then, yeah, go cry about it. It's okay. I feel like this is... no one talks actually about after the talking stage. So during the talking stage, awkward, fun, yeah. But near the end, when they get like dry and stuff,
That's
no one
when
really,
you
no
know.
one really talks about it. And I'm actually
Yeah.
gonna talk about a bit about it because no one
I
told
think
me
it's
about
pretty
this.
important.
Yeah, it feels like they don't like you, you don't like them.
If you do feel sad,
Yeah,
maybe-
typically a talking stage is going to downfall
yeah.
at some point. Like,
like most of the times, they don't really work out, if I've got to be honest.
Yeah, like, it's sad, but I feel like it's normal, definitely.
That just means that there's...
Yeah,
Yeah.
it means you're not the match for each other. You don't have the patience to stick with each other, you know what I mean? Like,
Doesn't
if
mean
you
you're
were
bad.
probably, like, if you were actually compatible, then I feel like the relationship would have gone
Yeah.
further.
There's probably, like, maybe if you're, like, let's see, how do you say this? Like, a shy person.
And he's,
And-
like, a loud one.
Yeah.
Probably is not going to work out.
Maybe there's, like, another person there.
That probably shares your interests, right?
Yeah.
But don't worry. I feel like, yeah, I've said this before. It's a great learning path to understand, yeah, like what your expectations are, right? And where you want this sort of thing to go further.
Yeah.
So in the future, you would know what to say. But I feel like definitely at the end, it's really hard. Like, you feel like you just lost someone. You felt like you just completely ruined it for yourself.
But don't let that, like,
Don't,
make
yeah,
you...
completely no. It's not your fault. I feel like this is just ridiculous. Like, I know it hurts. Like, it really hurts.
Just
I
boost
have
your
to say.
ego by telling
Yeah,
yourself
no.
that, like, oh no, you know what? They ain't worth it. I'm
Yeah, I
much
know,
better.
right? I can do so much better.
Yeah, just lie
But I
to
feel like, yeah,
yourself.
during that one period when you're just like really lost,
It's okay
like,
to be sad
Yeah,
and everything.
I feel like, yeah, it just feels like you lost someone very important and you feel like there's no one to talk to anymore. And it just felt like you ruined it for yourself. No, it's like you did not
You
ruin
don't.
it for yourself, right? This is completely normal, okay? Definitely, yeah, sure. Take that period to recover, all right?
and
Take
then,
that period to understand who around you was actually there for you.
and then when you are sad, that is the moment where you realize what type of people are actually true to you, since they will help and comfort you.
Yeah, and then
They might be the
probably-
one.
And then after that period, I feel like is the renewal period when you know, like, oh, this guy actually gives me the ick. I actually
Wow.
don't like him. I don't know why I like him. Yeah, sure. Some factors interested you at the start, but you probably ignored the red flags in the middle,
Yeah.
which is all right. Whatever. I do that.
Isn't it funny that we're
Yeah.
talking about this on Valentine's Day?
Yeah. Oh my god,
You
guys.
just realised that.
Yeah, like, sure. You see some guy holding like a big bouquet of flowers.
You
for
are like,
another
oh,
woman.
I want
It's
that.
okay. It's okay. You can be single. It's all right. No one's gonna judge you. I feel like being single.
Get your friends to buy you flowers.
Yeah. Why
Yeah.
not?
In the unweird way.
Even though it's probably the worst way ever. I don't like that.
Oh,
Um,
well.
But it's okay. I feel like definitely talking stages and situations are
They
more
are difficult.
yeah, they're more common in high school. So definitely when you're in high school, you probably would expect at least one or two to pop up in your life.
Most of the times for these situationships, we can't really find solutions for them. I think these are more like tips of how to recover, how to act, since every talking stage and situationship is different based off who you are. That's about it, right?